Thank you very much. I'd like to thank the organisers for giving me this opportunity to speak to you. The topic requires more than 10 minutes for you to totally absorb, so this is by way of a trailer, if you like, and tomorrow morning between 8 and 9 in the morning, in the Windsor Suite number 2, people can come and challenge me and just learn more about it all. There it is, the details. Why should I be here? I'm probably twice the average age of the mean age of the veterinary profession, but I got valuable practical experience. 40 years of my own practice in Cambridge in the UK. I also founded the VetStream project, and what I want to come back to is the design of the VetStream project 25 years ago was so robust, so much input. Actually, it's absolutely valid today. What has changed is the development of IT. I've missed a bit, where are we? Yeah. So my experience in practice, what can I bring to this whole discussion? Well, practice is a fantastic amalgam of mental and manual skills, but it's demanding. I started as a solo vet on my own for 5 years, living hard work. I read recently something to the fact that 3/4 of practitioners in continental Europe are actually solo vets. But even if you're in a group practice with branch clinics, you may be at the branch clinic, you're the sole vet with a nurse receptionist, you're on your own. That's a tough challenge. The second thing over my working year is veterinary practice has changed dramatically. We need to be flexible, we need to be able to change. My practice's policy has always been say yes when somebody says, can you do it, rather than no. So we've done a whole range of different things, and we need to be flexible. The idea we can be carrying on the same old way for the next 10, 20 years is probably unrealistic. Cambridge, well, we might have many of our clients the top quartile in terms of intelligence and education, being well informed. And I've said to people, any vet who comes to our practice, don't assume anything. The guy who pitches up in the scruffy old gardening clothes with his dog may have a Nobel Prize in medicine. So beware. But actually, in general practice, elsewhere, what's happening now is the internet. People read up and they come and they challenge. And that's really important that we're able to cope with that. Practical things in practice, productivity of vets, that's an important consideration if you're running a practice. Self-confidence, women are more open about it, but men are just as affected by self-confidence. Multitasking, part-time working, you've got family to look after, you've got your work to do. There's a lot of stress, we've got to reduce that. Client trust is really important, gaining it, maintaining it. Long-term relationships is what matters, an important part of job satisfaction. But actually, in your practice, it means repeat business, which is fundamental to financially sound veterinary practice. And the resources available to us, they're finite: time, money, physical energy, but above all, mental energy. Everyone's got a limited fuel tank of mental energy each day. So veterinary knowledge is about developing and applying it. And evidence is the reinforcing mesh within it, like steel within a concrete structure. No steel, doesn't take much physical force to knock it over. No evidence, doesn't take much force of argument to destroy what you're saying. And we can split our knowledge into skills and information. That's a convenient division. Skills are manageable, the skill set we need, and they're transferable across different applications with relatively minimal change. Information is unmanageable. We're comparative medicine, the One Health, huge range of species and depth of information within species. Skills application we can think of as a front of house activity, what actually earns fees, and information management is a back office function. We deal with veterinary problems, and it's to define the problem, as in diagnosis, and to resolve it as in treatment. We aim to consistently optimize outcomes. That's really important. We're applying concept-specific veterinary information or veterinary knowledge. Any problem you care to think of requires its own specific information, irrespective of the vet. And yet, when we look at it, anyone coming from a supply chain background, process engineering, just-in-time manufacturing, would be astonished. We got this profession in the top quartile in intelligence, education, motivation, high achieving, and yet when it comes to getting information, we're rubbish. Every vet does their own thing, and that is madness. We need a common professional-wide information framework, what I call a universal framework for veterinary information. And that's not a new idea of international universal frameworks. Great usefulness in the human activity, take longitude and latitude for location. It gives us time zones, accurate maps, sea or land, sat-nav, air traffic control, weather forecasting. It's a even bars in music. Like you can have a bar, fantastic organ piece, brass band concert, Lloyd Webber stage musicals, John Williams film music, TV, program, signature tunes and incidental music. It's all from that one thing of great flexibility. That's what we need as vets. We have a huge tree of veterinary knowledge, full of fruit, much of it evidence that we'd like to be able to harvest. But we need to be able to prioritize in terms of its utility and value. It's all very well saying, well, we're doing evidence-based medicine, we're picking the low-hanging fruit, but we need to know which fruit do we need, how do we prioritize it? And actually, the design of this system enables us to do that, and furthermore, to provide the funding to do so, which is an important issue. Funding was brought up this morning, the first speaker, Steve. We need as a profession to change our mentality. Traditional mentality is the adolescent teenager. Please, mum, please, Dad, I can have some cash for this. So we go to sponsors and grants and so on. We've got to grow up and be independent, financially self-sufficient. Otherwise, we're going to get nowhere. At the moment, the sources of funding are declining. The demands, if we're going for evidence medicine seriously, is going up. Where's the balance going to come from? We have to do it ourselves. So a little bit about this universal framework, UFVI. Only covering parts of it, and come tomorrow and challenge much more and get much more detail. But we can summarize it in 3 geometric shapes: a pyramid, a cube, and a sphere. And in 3 basic elements, or objects, V-bits, V-quans, and V-apps. And the V means veterinary, but in the V-quans and V-apps also is the Roman number 5. Here we have a pyramid, lots of pyramids we've seen today. At the apex, we've got the key decision taker, who's concerned with problem definition and problem resolution. It could be a veterinary clinician, it could be a chief executive of a global corporation. It's the same problem, a particular context, and often significant uncertainty. And at the bottom, we've got raw chaotic data in scientific papers, textbooks, the whole range of things. We need a structured, coherent data to enable the decision taker to cope. And we can think of the upper tier of our pyramid as being front of house activity and the other back office. That middle tier, the core of it is a 3-dimensional structure, 3D matrix. Very simple, intuitive to you and to me, body systems, non-body systems, and genome, or perhaps you might think of it as species. But it's actually, in terms of interweaving of books, in effect, this matrix. And I can't go into all details, but it's a very important part of how we can manage information. I'll explain that tomorrow. The V-bits, V-quans, and V-apps. A V-bit is a packet of data. Think Lego. You've got bricks, doesn't matter the shape or size. Imagine each brick is unique, a unique ID, maybe hundreds of thousands of them. But you can use that brick and reuse it any combination. You build a structure in Lego, that brick can be used here, there, wherever. And the point about it, from the veterinary point of view, is if that data is unique and discrete and is of the highest quality, you know that you're using the most up-to-date data, you know the quality of it. Quantifiers, V-quans, really, really important. We need to know with any data, any V-bit, any V-app, what's the quality in terms of the evidence, scientific, the scientific validity of it, the prevalence, how effective and useful is something, the level of competence required, what's required for the procedure, what's your level of competence, should you take it on, should you refer it, the cost, when was it last reviewed, and the change, how major or minor was that change? And that's important at a practical level, which I'll show in a moment. V-apps. V-apps, if you go back to our idea of Lego, you can have, yes, you can start from scratch, as we're more or less doing at the moment as vets. We're doing our own thing. You start with a little piece of baseboard of Lego, we build up our own thing. What this is about saying, let's build structures that we can use and reuse. So you go to the structure which is nearest to what you need, the problem you're dealing with, and then you can fine-tune it for the particular details of that case. But the work has been done. You haven't got to go searching for all that data, digging around and taking it down. In practice, you haven't got the time to do it. And as somebody said not long ago, the idea of vets doing it, forget it. They do, haven't got the time. They don't. We've got to make it something that's just in time. You can really access that national information immediately. Have I gone back one? No, sorry. So we've got 5 types of data relationship. Focal, temporal, comparative, hierarchical, and spatial. And all veterinary information actually is structured data using one or any combination of those 5 types of relationship. And it seems to be true in information generally out with the veterinary field. I haven't looked at that in too much detail. So a lot of the base level VPAT app can be on any one of those types of relationship. And that's rather like your Lego thing. You've got a single way of linking things together. This is 5 different ways. And here's an example of something with 3, a spatial, temporal, and comparative. And does that go to light? No. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Where are we? Is there a pointer there? Was that the pointer? Oh, yeah. What you can see there, this is a spatial thing. This is actually developed for animal welfare. It's for lab animals, and it's to show cumulative suffering. You can look at something and say, well, there's acute pain now, or mild pain, or whatever. Actually, what matters in lab animal work is that over the total period of the animal's life, or what period you're concerned with, the cumulative suffering. So what we have here is a graphic, a spatial array here, 5-point scale in terms of each. And then we've got a temporal one, a timeline, time A, time B, time C, and the findings. And some comparative part of it is actually essentially a spreadsheet, entering data into there, and those data generate this graphic. The third geometric shape, I'm in time trouble. Can I go a little bit longer? Is the sphere, the repository with the best data known to exist. That's what we're about. And it's under perpetual challenge and review. It's a dynamo driving the whole process. Financial subscription income from users, technical feedback from users. If people are feeding back that, you've got very accurate market research. Where are the weaknesses in our depository and our data? Then it's driving up data acquisition, keeping up to date. It's about disseminating updated information. We can think of it in terms of hydroponics and digital video. Hydroponics, plants have their roots immersed in fluid, and they absorb what they need from the nutrient fluid going past. Digital video, what works, you can get it on your screen, you can enlarge it to full size, there's no juddering, there's no pixelation, because it's a digital image, and what is transmitted is actually pixel change. And so in terms of this, if we have a common reference point, the best data, then what we send to people proactively is what's changed. And we can link that using our cube, 3D thing, and also the degree of change, how major or minor. So in your major areas of work, you want to know every minor change. Perhaps your dogs and cats, but you're a kid's pony and you know a little bit about ponies. You want to know the major change, perhaps in laminitis or colic. And the third thing is a common asset, the profession as a whole. Nobody should own it. It should be like a family business, takes a long-term view, and it's primarily a research and development organization. We've got the funding to actually generate the data, acquire the data we need in our repository of data, of veterinary data. It's controlled by the current users. A good example is like National Trust in the UK, but it's actually the users who control it. Nobody owns it, and as soon as somebody ceases to be a user, they have no influence. So over time, it reaches the real needs of vets, and as it should do. I better stop now, hadn't I? Run out of time. Anyway, tomorrow morning, 8 till 9. Please come, those who are interested, and we can go into much more detail. It's a real scamper through.